Most people spend a third of their entire life asleep and have almost nothing to show for it spiritually. Today, we're going to change that. Welcome to the next episode of Mystical Journeys with Jase. Hello, everybody. I think it's time to start talking about an interesting subject that's pretty dear to my heart. And honestly, one that gave me some of the very most deep insights that I've ever had on this journey. Today, we're going to talk about dreams, dream analysis, lucid dreaming, and eventually dream control. In some later episodes, I might get into a lot more minute detail on these, but I'm going to give you guys a lot of basics that really will work. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Jace, is this just about having interesting dreams? And I want to say to you right now, absolutely not. What I'm going to share with you today goes a lot deeper than that. The proof, as I always say, is in the results. So let me take you back to where this all started for me. I got a chance to work with someone. She was a graduate student over at Carnegie Mellon University. I have to be honest with you, I can't remember her full name, but I believe her first name was Sheila. Now, Sheila was collecting some data for her master's degree, and she had asked a group of students to participate in some dream research. I knew her from a job I had back in the 80s, so I asked her if she'd be like to have another participant for her study. She agreed, and I signed on. And what ended up happening blew even Sheila away when it was all said and done. So I figure if it was worth sharing with her, it's worth sharing with all of you. Let's get into it. Part one, the journal, where it all begins. Here's what Sheila's study originally asked us to do. Before going to bed, we were supposed to keep a journal right there on the nightstand. Simple enough, right? And in that journal at the top of the page, we would write down a few things. What did I dream about? How did it feel? Was there anything special I remember? And then here's the part that really did me in. She wanted us to wake up roughly about every 20 minutes throughout the night. I'm going to be honest with you, that was tough. I was tired. I was working. I gave it my best shot. I wrote down what I could and handed the information over to Sheila, and she was happy with it. But here's where the curious side of me kicked in. I thought, well, what if I adjusted this? What if instead of just recording what I dreamed about, I started asking myself a little different, something a little bit more intentional? So I rewrote the journal scripts for myself. Instead of what did I dream about, I started asking, what was I aware of in my dream? Did the feelings feel strong or did they feel soft? Was there anything that stood out as particularly vivid? And then I created a little affirmation that I would write at the top of every journal entry before bed. Something simple, something powerful. I wrote this: I am aware and I am awake in my dream. That's it. Simple. But don't let the simplicity fool you. Setting that intention night after night started to change things. Little by little, I began catching myself inside the dream state. I'd be in the middle of a dream and something would click. I'd look around. I'd notice things, colors, feelings, the texture of the experience, even at times reading a newspaper. In fact, I want to share something interesting about the colors, specifically because a lot of people say that they don't remember colors in their dreams. I started to. Little by little, I could look at something in a dream, maybe a person wearing a jacket, and I'd think, I want the color to be different. And suddenly it would change. And that was the beginning of something really extraordinary. I will get into in a bit. A word on dream interpretation. Now, before I get into the step by step technique, I want to share something with you that I think is one of the most profound insights I've ever had with this whole process. And it has to do with how you interpret your dreams. You can go out and buy books on dream interpretation. There's plenty of them out there, and they're not without value. But here's my take, and I really want you to sit with this for a second. When you look at something in your dream, an image, a symbol, a place, a person, instead of reaching for somebody else's definition of what it means, ask yourself two questions. First, what does it feel like to me? And second, in a very calm, quiet tone, ask yourself, what does this mean for me? And I want you to be very specific about that phrasing. Not what does this mean to me, but what does this mean for me? There's a difference. For me puts you in the seat of the one who's receiving the message. It's personal, it's yours. Here's why this matters so much. Let me give you an example. Say you dream about a church. You can hand that same dream to three different people and get three completely different interpretations. One person might say, a church is a place of peace and solitude, a sanctuary. Another might say, a church was a place that I was forced to go as a kid. It doesn't bring up good feelings. And for me personally, a church always represents beautiful architecture, the craftsmanship, the history, the artistry of it. That's actually what stirred in me. Three people, same symbol, three completely different meanings. And every single one of them is valid because every single one of them is true for that person. So when you sit down with your journal and you're working through a dream, remember this above everything else. Ask yourself what each element felt like. And then gently ask, what does this part mean for me? Don't force an answer. Don't reach for a book. Just allow the thoughts and the feelings to come up and write them down right there alongside everything else. You might be surprised at what your own inner wisdom already knows. Part two, the technique, step by step. All right, let me lay this out for you clearly so you can take these steps and actually put them into practice starting tonight. This is the foundation. Are you ready? Here we go. Your dream journal practice. Step one, start with a dream journal. It's as simple as that. Get yourself a notebook. You can make it pretty if you want. You can draw on it, whatever you wish to do. The important part is keep it right by your bed with a pen that has ink in it. Step two, write this affirmation at the top of your journal before you go to sleep. I am aware and I am awake in my dream. Step three, write this question below your affirmation. What do I remember about my dream? Step four, after you wake up, ask yourself, what were my feelings while I was awake in my dream? Step five, ask yourself, was there anything special that I was aware of while I was in my dream? Step six, once you've written what you can, relax. Take a breath. Let your mind settle for a minute or two, and then allow yourself to drift back to sleep. And yes, If you wake up and remember absolutely nothing, that's completely okay. Write down nothing tonight and add something kind to yourself like, I'll do my best to remember tomorrow. The act of writing in the journal, even when it feels like nothing happened, is still setting the intention. Your mind is watching. Part three, falling back asleep, the rainbow technique. Now, I want to share something I've used for many years to help myself to fall back asleep after waking up. Whether it's in the middle of the night or just at bedtime when my mind won't settle down, I call it the rainbow technique, and it works beautifully. Once you've tried it a few times, most people find themselves asleep before they even get to the end of it. Here's how it works. You're going to count backwards through the colors of the rainbow, from red all the way to violet. And with each color, you're going to visualize yourself completely surrounded by that color, immersed in it, not thinking about your grocery list, not replaying the day, just you and yourself being surrounded by that color. Before you begin, set this intention. Say to yourself, when I get to the color violet, I give myself permission to fall asleep. Start with this. Close your eyes. Then visualize the color being completely around your body. Let it warm you. Let it relax you. Give yourself a minute of relaxing with each color. Here are the 7 colors. Red. Begin here. See yourself completely surrounded by the color red. Maybe a red rose. Maybe a beautiful crimson sunset. Let it wash over you completely. Give yourself a minute and let this color be completely with you and around you. Now, transition to the next color. Orange. Transition into orange. I always like to imagine myself just sitting at the beach with a nice warm orange sunshine all around me. Eyes closed, just completely bathed in that color. Let it wash over you completely. Give yourself a minute and let this color be completely around you. Yellow. Allow the color yellow to wash over you. Maybe the brightness of the midday. Let it be the sun. Let it be warm and full and completely surrounding you. Let it wash over you completely. Give yourself a minute and let this color be completely around you. Green. This is one of my favorites. I'd picture a nice, lush green forest full of life force, full of vitality, plants, and trees all around me. And I'm just completely at peace in all of that. Let it wash over you completely. Give yourself a minute and let this color be completely around you. Blue. Look up, see the blue sky. Or maybe you're standing on the edge of an ocean looking out at the deep blue water. This has always been one of my favorite colors to sit in. Let yourself just be there with the color, nothing else. Let it wash over you completely. Give yourself a minute and let this color be completely around you. Indigo. A little darker now. I'd like you to imagine the deeper part of the ocean, that rich, darker blue that's isn't quite violet yet, but you can feel it going deeper, just flowing with water, relaxing further. Let it wash over you completely. Give yourself a minute and let this color be completely around you. Violet. Take your time here. Whatever shade of violet or deep purple resonates with you, and whenever you arrive at this color, let yourself just go. You gave yourself permission. Honor it. Let it wash over you completely. Give yourself a minute and let this color be completely around you. Now just hold here, enjoy, and relax. I have to tell you, most nights I'm out before I even reach the color green. Don't rush it. Don't force it. Just move the colors gently and let your body and mind do what they naturally want to do. Sometimes I've had to go back again and go through the color count again. Here's a pro tip. Hold the color a little longer next time, especially if you need to. Give it a try. Part 4. Lucid dreaming. Waking up inside the dream. All right. Let's say you've been doing the journal practice for a little while. You've been setting your intention before bed. Maybe you started to remember some dreams. Maybe you're still in that early stage while you're just doing writing nothing tonight. Wherever you are, stay with it. Because here's what's going to begin to happen. Over time, you're going to start to build what I call an inner awareness muscle. And one night, maybe it's been a week, maybe it takes a little longer, something's going to shift. You're in the middle of a dream, and something inside you recognizes it. You know you're dreaming, you feel it, and you're still in there. That's lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is when the dream state becomes so vivid, so real, that you can't tell the difference between being awake and being in the dream, except that you know you're conscious inside it. And that's when things get really extraordinary. Imagine being able to stand at a beach that feels completely real, feeling the sand under your feet, the warm air on your skin, s- sound of the water, or sitting down and having a genuine conversation with a public figure you've always admired, a mentor that you never got to meet, maybe a teacher from history. In the lucid dream state, you can do all that. I've done some of that. I've traveled to other places, other spaces in that dream state. And I'll tell you what, it can be absolutely amazing. But here's what I want you to understand about how this develops. It doesn't just happen because you decided you want lucid dreams. It happens because you've been building your awareness night after night. You've been reminding yourself, I am aware and I am awake in my dream. And eventually that intention sinks all the way in. So I want to give you one more affirmation to add to your practice when you're ready for this layer. Before you go to sleep, say to yourself, I give myself full and complete permission to be completely aware during my dream. Say it like you mean it, because you do mean it. You're not just saying words, you're programming your awareness. The more you remind yourself to do something, the more you tend to actually do it. That's not just spiritual wisdom, that's actually how the mind works. Part 5. Dream control. Changing the story. Now, we get to the part that I find genuinely extraordinary. Dream control. After working with Sheila's study and after developing my own practice, I started to notice something. I wasn't just a passenger in my dreams anymore. I was beginning to have some influence over what happened in them. And I could make adjustments. I could change events. And once that started happening, well, a whole new world of possibilities opened up for me. Let me give you a couple of examples from my own experience because I think this will make it very real to you. When I was younger, the way that I always flew in my dreams was like this. I'd take a deep breath and hold it, and I would float right up to the sky, off the floor, up to the ceiling, into the sky. And I'd take another breath and I could fly a lot higher. You know what? To this day, that is still exactly how I fly in my dreams. Some things you develop early and they stay with you. But beyond flying, I started to discover that I could practice things in my dreams, real things. I was doing martial arts at the time and working on sword forms. And I put an intention in my journal one night. I want to practice swinging the sword. I want to feel what it's like to work through those movements in my dream. Not long after that, I started feeling myself actually doing that in the dream state, moving through the cuts, feeling the weight of it, the flow of it, the motion. Now, that might sound pretty far fetched to some people, but I want to remind you of something I'd read about. There's a story about a golfer. He was a prisoner of war in Vietnam. Every day he was in that camp, he played a full round of golf in his mind, every shot, every hole. And when he came home, he stood right back onto the course and played to the same handicap he had had before the war. Not a stroke lost, because the mind doesn't always distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. That concept stayed with me, and it drove me to explore what's possible in the dream state when you're fully aware and in control. If you have recurring dreams that frighten you, dream control can be one of the most powerful tools you ever have. Because instead of being at the mercy of what happens in that dream, that bear that's chasing you, that fear that shows up from time to time, you can reach in and change it. You can grab hold of something in the dream and adjust the story. And over time, those fearful dreams, they lose their grip over you. And the beautiful thing is, once you start doing this, even small moments of control, you want to write it down. Make a note of it in your journal. And I was thinking about this, and I was able to just bring it right into my dream. I noticed that I could change this element. That act of recording it reinforces the ability. You're telling your mind, yes, this is real. This is happening. So let's build on it. All right, let's wrap this one up. I want you to hear this before you go. What I've shared with you today is not theoretical. It's not something I read in a book and passed along. It's lived experience. This is what I've done, what I've seen, what I practiced. And what changed the way I understood about the connection between the mind, the body, and the deeper layers of consciousness is that most of us are only being able to tap into. At some point in the future, I want to go even deeper with this. I want to get into using the dream state as a genuine tool for insight, looking at events that are coming up, working through problems, maybe even touching some of the prophetic dimensions that some dreamers have experienced. I know someone who teaches that specific area of dream work, and I'd love to bring them in for a conversation. Stay tuned for that. For now, here's your homework. Go get yourself a journal. Make sure the pen has ink. Write those affirmations Follow the steps I gave you. After you've been doing this for a little while and something amazing happened in your dream life, I want to hear about it. Reach out to me at the website. That's mysticaljourneyswithjase.com. And that's Jase. I do my best to get back to everybody in a timely fashion. And I genuinely love hearing what's unfolding for people who are on this journey. If this episode spoke to you, please share it with someone who might need it. Subscribe to the new episodes and come right to your podcast provider at the moment they drop. Come find us on Facebook. Join the group. Stay connected. Be part of this community we're building together. You have the potential to do amazing things. You have the potential to remember your dreams, to be aware inside them, to have those dreams work for you, not just entertain you, but actually serve you. The power is already in you. Thank you for taking your time to be with me today. Have some fun with us. I'll see you in the next one.